where I'm in my journey of life, is like I'm really trying to relate to people better, and I not that I have to, but I think I want to. You're really great at that, Steve. But it's like I do keep people kind of at arm's length, and so I want to get through that because the problem with that is that you don't always see the contribution they're making to you, because I have a little bit of a I think everybody's got an agenda. And so I want to work through that.
I mean, let's call it what it is, right? I mean,
that's true.
I mean, you have an agenda.
Yeah.
I have an agenda, and that agenda is, it might be about being a great human being. It might be about my agenda today might be that I want to be the better version of myself versus what I was 5 or 10 or 15 years ago. Yeah, you may have someone that has an agenda, like an angle from a business perspective, and I have people in my life that are that way too. But I understand that, they have an agenda, but they're a good dude or a good gal. I mean, I tell my wife that all the time. She's like, "Why are you spending time with so and so?" I'm like, if you just understood that I get it, but there's a real wholeness about them that most people don't see. And I try to drill in on that, and you discover something. You can discover something really juicy in that individual that you're like, that guy was well, you find out he's not an asshole. Yeah. Ultimately. But if I could, on that agenda part, I think ultimately we all do. It's just, where are you in that evolution?
Well, I feel like part of this podcast for me, I want to give credit to a lot of those folks. I mean, like you're going to have John McClellan on, and I've worked with him on and off for a few years, in the past, and I don't think I always gave him the credit. He's the one who gave me my first shot at having a branch. I remember he's like, "I'm going to show you behind the curtain here, how the numbers work," and that allowed me to level up, in that moment. There's other managers, Charlie Jackson at Bank of America, other managers all along. I've had a lot of great folks in my life. I've had people that work for me that, because we did great things, but it didn't end well. One of those is Christy Rendon, and she's gone on to she was my loan officer assistant, and she was amazing. And it got to this point where I don't know why I just got bitter about it. I thought I was paying her too much, and she thought probably didn't think I was paying her.
Paying her enough.
We ended. It was like a divorce. Yeah. It was really hard because we worked really closely for a couple of years, and we still are a little incomplete about it. I would, or at least maybe, I think I'm incomplete about it. But she's gone on to start her own mortgage practice and doing amazing. She's doing amazing. She's an amazing person. But so there's lots of people on the way that have given me credit that you don't always see those. Those, they seem like adversaries sometimes. Like you said, when you peel the onion back, they're really just trying to help you out. Yeah. But they have rules. And it's like, they're there, you got to do it my way. Too. I'm going to help you, but here's the way we're going to do it. And it seems like they're adversarial, but they're really just trying to protect themselves too. Yeah. Right.
Well, and I think that in that sense that we're here for a reason, right? People come into our lives for a reason. There's no doubt in my mind, and we have a choice to turn left or turn right or go straight. And that can be from a literal standpoint or from an emotional standpoint, right? And so it sounds like that you've through your progressions that you've. I'm not going to say that any of us have ever come full circle, but you're getting close, right? Yeah. And you had mentioned to me prior to our visit today that that you're going to be moving into another chapter of your life. You're not going to be spending as much time originating, and you've got a great team in place, and you have great systems in place. And I think that's important for those of us that are in our world. Someone like myself, that I always think that I have to be in the trenches, and you are you're a perfect example of, hey, if you build the system and you build a great team and you're a good human being and you're good to your partners, in your case, your brothers and your loan assistants and your marketing, your head of marketing, that you can have a system that will work without you having to be there. And so what's next? What's next and what's your end game?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I figured out the end game yet. I was... what I'm spending more of my time on lately is coaching, and what that looks like a variety of things. So far, I haven't been paid to coach yet. Okay, but
are you coaching people here in Austin, or are you coaching people like through is there a system?
It could be anywhere really.
How are you
nowadays
promoting
with technology, that? I'm not yet. I haven't quite figured out how I want to do it, but I want to spend more of my time. helping
Coaching and
people
mentoring?
through whatever
Yeah.
if they have a challenge. And not
Okay.
everybody needs help, but if they do, I want to be there to help them.
And you're not talking about just mortgage. You're talking about
No.
life coach?
Yeah, life
Okay.
coach.
Okay.
So I'm kind of building that practice and my skills around that.
Mm-hmm.
And continuing the mortgage business. Work with my wife, runs a real estate team, kind of helping her out. So just not so, totally focused on building a
Mm-hmm.
mortgage team, just kind of spreading out a little bit and seeing what that. And it's interesting. I've seen people do this. You've seen this probably, where like they reach some sort of pinnacle in a business and they
Mm-hmm.
just like drop off. We're not
Mm-hmm.
going to drop off.
Yeah.
Shooty Brothers is, like I say, we're still as a team going on, but that individual sometimes kind of like goes off and does something else. And that may be kind of my story.
Yeah.
Where it's like I may not be super involved in mortgages. But I'm in that transitional stage.
And y'all branded yourself, right? You branded yourself as the Shusey Brothers.
Yeah.
And it's not just about you, it's your team.
That was key. And I mean, I'm
Yeah.
working with Loan People and Max. One of the reasons I joined them, one of the key reasons is he's got a really great system over there. And
Yeah.
so it allows me to not be the one having to lead as much.
Yeah.
And figure out, answer all the questions, because he's got this great team for my brothers.
He figured out a while back. You
Yeah.
know, we're talking about Max Lehman. He's
Yeah.
always been one of the top producers, if not the top producer in our market and across the country. I mean, the
Yeah.
guy's a total beast. And we'll
Yeah.
have him on here
Yeah.
at some point as well. But, you being part of that team and seeing how their systems work, and it sounds like that's made some, that for you.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to plug in. I mean, I give a lot of credit to my prior company, the Home Loan Expert, and Ryan Kelly, who runs that. I couldn't have done the same level of production, I don't think,
Mm-hmm.
without him, because
Mhm.
he is also kind of a beast. And
Yeah.
he was like, "This is our time. We're gonna do as many loans as we can." And
Yeah.
so having that top down attitude was
Mhm.
helpful. But the systems were, you kind of ran things at a branch level.
Mhm.
But what I think Max has figured out is kind of at a corporate level how to have a really, really great, a really well-run company with
Mhm.
really great people.
Okay.
And so that gives me a little more freedom to say, hey, my brother's going to be okay. My team's going to be okay. They have great leadership. It doesn't have to be me.
Mhm.
So that's part of why I made that move.
Yeah.
And